When you first open Minecraft, no one tells you what to do. And yet, somehow, you know. You punch a tree, you build a shelter, you craft a bed, you mine deeper, you gear up, you go to the nether, you find a fortress, you kill the dragon. And then the credits roll. You've won. But did anyone actually tell you to do that? Did the game ever say this is the goal? Not really. It just nudges you. With mechanics, with progression systems, with the hunger bar ticking down, with mobs that attack you at the night. The game created pressure, and you responded to it. You follow the script without ever reading it. And for most of the players, that's fine. That's the game. That is fun, and that is perfectly fine. But then there's Anarchy servers. Imagine joining a server with no rules, no admins, no banned items, no protected zones, no one to report anyone to, just a world and thousands of players who have been there for years. The first thing most people feel is not excitement, it's disorientation because suddenly the nudges are gone. The hunger bar may still be there, but most players have shulker boxes full of food, full sets of enchanted gear, and a lot of totems. The survival pressure that normally guides your decisions, it's not there. And without that pressure, without that invisible hand steering you forward, you realize something a little bit uncomfortable. You have no idea what you actually want to do. That moment, that pause, that blankness, is one of the most honest experiences a video game has ever given me, because it's not really a game problem, it's a you problem. The game just removed distractions long enough for you to notice it. So, what would you do if no one told you what to do? Here's what Anarchy actually gives you when you think about it carefully. No server rules, so no one can tell you what to build, where to go, or how to play. No survival pressure, because you're practically immortal, stacked with the best gear, with enough resources to never worry again, and most of the times you have hacks. And no imposed objective, because the dragon is long dead, and most of the game achievements have already been accomplished. What you're left with is something very rare, even outside of video games: absolute freedom. Not the freedom to choose between options someone else designed. Not the freedom to follow a questline at your own pace. Real freedom. The kind where you look at an infinite world and the only question is, what do I actually want to do here? And that's heavier than it sounds, because most of us, in games, and maybe in real life too, we're so used to be given a direction that we never really had to seriously ask ourselves that question. Anarchy forces it, quietly, without any drama. It just opens the door and steps aside. And that feeling, that emptiness, that now what, is actually why most players quit Anarchy servers after a few days. We're so wired to follow a path that, having none at all, does not feel like freedom at first. It feels like being lost. It feels uncomfortable, almost hollow. That discomfort is hard to sit with. But the players who stay, they learn something. So, what do people do? What do you do when you have everything in the game can offer you? Some players build, not because anyone asked them to, not for a server theme, not for a community project, but because they have something they want to express, and they have infinite resources to express it with. They make massive structures in the middle of nowhere that maybe three people will ever find. Some players walk, literally just walk, or fly, for millions of blocks into parts of the map that no one has ever touched, not to find something any specific, just to be the first. Some players protect strangers. They find new players, confused and disoriented, exactly like they once were, and they decide for no mechanical reason whatsoever to help them. They give them gear, they show them around, and they are kind in a world that has absolutely no incentive system rewarding kindness. And some players destroy, they grieve, they ruin, they burn. And honestly, that's also a choice, a genuine one. In a world without rules, destruction is as valid as an expression as creation is. But here's what all these have in common: they're real goals, personal ones, goals that come from the inside, not from a game system or mechanic. And I think that's what makes Anarchy servers so fascinating. They're not really about chaos, they're about self discovery, wrapped in a blocky, pixelated world that has been burning and building itself for years. When you fly over an old Anarchy server, what you see looks at first like destruction. Craters, lava fields, rift ruins of things that used to be something. But then you look a little longer. There are signs, messages left by players who were here years ago. Maybe they don't even play anymore. There are hidden bases, buried underground, full of chests no one will ever open. There are monuments that serve no purpose except to say, I was here, I made this. This meant something to me. The world is scarred, broken, and burned down. And it's also somehow deeply human. Because that's what we do. We show up somewhere with no instructions, no guaranteed meaning, no safety net. And we build anyway. We set goals no one gave us. We leave marks no one asked for. It's absolute freedom, because the only thing that moves you into doing something, it's yourself. Maybe that's why Anarchy servers feel so different from any other way of playing Minecraft. And maybe that's the most honest thing Anarchy can teach you. No one is going to hand you a reason to keep going. No system, no rule, no objective. The path is completely yours, uncomfortably yours, and beautifully yours. And the only way to find out what it looks like is to start walking.